Big money is escaping China. A new report predicting the country would have the biggest outflow of millionaires globally in 2023. The report comes from Henley and Partners, a consultancy firm focused on investment migration. It estimates China would lose over 13,000 millionaires, followed by India and the UK. A Guangdong-based immigrant agent who mainly serves China's wealthy gave his take, noting he's seeing a growing number of clients leaving China. The agent told the South China Morning Post that clients are concerned about the long-term value of their assets in China in the country's slowing economy. The report said last year over 10,000 wealthy people left China, taking almost $50 billion with them. But why are they leaving? The report points to several possibilities: the slowing economy, harsh COVID-19 restrictions in recent years, and Chinese leader Xi Jinping's push for common prosperity. That campaign urges China's rich to share their money with others to reduce inequality. Countries like Australia and Singapore are popular destinations for wealthy individuals looking to relocate. In comparison, the U.S. is still attracting the rich rather than losing them. America is expected to see the inflow of over 2,000 high rollers this year. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is prepping for his trip to China this weekend. He spoke to his Chinese counterpart on Wednesday, but the call didn't seem to help ease tensions between the two superpowers. China's Qin Gang warned Blinken that the U.S. should stop interfering in China's internal affairs and accused Washington of stifling China's development interests in the name of competition. Referring to those internal affairs, Beijing pointed out its core concern, the Taiwan issue. China claims that the island is part of its territory, though the Chinese regime has never governed Taiwan. High-ranking U.S. officials have met with Taiwan's leaders in recent months to reinforce ties with the island, angering Beijing. Responding to Qing's remarks, Blinken's office emphasized the importance of communication and the Biden administration's goal for cooperation between the U.S. and China. Washington's chief diplomat is scheduled to travel to China and Britain between June 16th and June 21st. That's after canceling his previous plan amid the Chinese spy balloon incident. Blinken's trip will mark the first visit to China by a U.S. Secretary of State in 5 years. Is China's economy on the road to recovery? After 3 years of strict COVID-19 lockdowns, analysts say the outlook is grim. That's as China's manufacturing slowdown deepened in May, grappling with a lack of demand. We hear from some Chinese manufacturers for a first-hand look.
As soon as Beijing ended its zero COVID-19 restrictions at the end of last year, executives with a Chinese automaker for electric buses traveled to Russia and Southeast Asia, hoping to seize orders from clients who had lost contact for 3 years.
To be honest, last year we barely had any meetings with overseas clients. This May we have only received 3 groups.
Faced with weak demand from the domestic market, the automaker is shifting its focus toward overseas markets like Russia, Korea, Thailand, and Myanmar. Similarly, another automaker focused on special purpose vehicles is struggling to recapture orders lost during the pandemic. And it's not an easy task.
It is still in the process of recovering, so the growth is quite slow.
The company's April sales increased by just a single-digit percentage compared to last year. And at that time, China was still under stringent virus rules.
Regarding China's manufacturing PMI, and also the recent data on the price and also profits from the industrial sector, etc., all pointing to some kind of weakness.
Weakening global demand has hurt Chinese manufacturers after central banks in the U.S., Europe, and Asia raised interest rates to cool inflation.
And we are certainly seeing that coming through as a bit of consumer confidence being affected as well.
At home, Chinese consumer spending revived in the first quarter, driven by China's rapid reopening from lockdown. But the second wave of rebound has not yet come as expected, with workers' income and shopping sentiment lagging behind.
My income has been greatly affected for sure.
A security firm owner says his wealthy clients are no longer quite so willing to spend.
The economy is not recovering very well because a lot of clients who are bosses are not intending to spend on hiring as they did before.
And an IT worker saying people are now more cautious about bulk expenses, like buying property.
Now I have misgivings about spending money. COVID-19 and changes in the international situation have made us worry a lot.
The unstable economic outlook and possible job losses have sent jitters through Chinese consumers. An official survey in April found a record 1 in 5 young workers in Chinese cities were unemployed. If the weak growth continues over the next few months, experts say Beijing may issue stimulus measures to secure the growth target.
I think altogether that's really causing our China economists themselves, the team, to look at the number and actually lowering some of the forecasts for industrial production.
China's economy faces a long road ahead to reach the ruling Communist Party's growth target for this year, around 5%. A global market intelligence has already downgraded China's GDP growth forecast.
Smart shoppers beware. An apparent snub from Amazon is taking aim at a Chinese competitor. The tech giant is choosing to exclude China-owned e-retailer Temu from its price-searching algorithm. The system compares products sold on its marketplace with rivals, keeping price tags competitive for customers. Amazon says Temu doesn't meet its requirements. Those rules make sure the company doesn't price match questionable merchandise, including possible counterfeits. But excluding the platform means some goods on Temu could beat out prices offered by Amazon. Owned by China's PDD Holdings, Temu touts low prices for home goods, electronics, and apparel shipped from China. The company has sold over $630 million worth of goods as of May, up from $140 million in January. Beijing just announced a new policy to counter its economic bust. China's central bank slashed the interest rate for short-term borrowing on Tuesday for the first time in 10 months. China's policymakers are hoping for an economic upturn. That's as the country's market flounders post-pandemic. Chinese citizens face lower paychecks and businesses keep shutting down. Let's zoom in.
China's central bank cutting short-term borrowing costs to support the country's recovery. That means about $280 million will get injected into the market. The interest rate cuts make borrowing money cheaper, easing the process to buy real estate or other investments. Following that example, the country's next 6 largest national banks cut the rates on the demand deposit to 0.2%, all to encourage people to open their wallets, with many Chinese businesses going bankrupt amid the country's economic bust. Beijing also just announced more than 20 measures to cut costs for China's businesses, including tax breaks and releasing loans. The rate reduction is expected to make the most significant impact on the financial system, with analysts saying other rates for longer lending terms might follow suit.